What's up, you guys? FSC, Feszchakshop Speed and Custom Shop. Today we're going to be working on my 1998 Oldsmobile Intrigue. This car has a pretty interesting history to it. I'm going to try to get to it real quick. It was originally purchased from my father brand new from Giancola Oldsmobile back in New Jersey. My dad put over 200,000 miles on it, and right now it sits at 284,000 miles on it. It's probably one of the better cars you'd ever find bang for your buck, meaning the amount of miles you put in it versus the amount of money you had to put in it to maintain it. At 284,000 miles, it still has the original engine. I've never even had to have the heads off of it. As far as engine work goes, the most I've ever had it done was an intake gasket, that's all. And that was done fairly recently. It still runs strong. I still wouldn't mind driving it any distance. However, the suspension is just getting plumb worn out. And it's getting a little old in the looks. The paint's faded pretty bad. It definitely needs to be buffed. It has been waxed in probably 15 years. It's just, the car needs massive updating. You either got two choices with a car like this. Either get rid of it or do something with it. My choice, of course, is do something with it. It's just been much too nice of a car. But the suspension system has basically been pounded out of it. The old springs, or the original springs, they're sagging. The car's lower than it used to be even when it was factory. The front suspension's wore out. The front strut bearings are completely destroyed and make this horrible noise when you hit any kind of bump. The front brakes at this point are starting to get a little warped, and when you step on a brake you hear the thump 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 thump, which is the strut actually moving forward or back in the strut bearing. So with that, I decided I was going to rebuild the entire suspension system, hence all the parts you see. And believe it or not, I'm still waiting for some of the parts. I got the adjustable front struts I'm still waiting on. Those are coming from Summit and a few other odd end pieces that go with the new front end, but I did get the rear end already. The idea of this video is this: we're going to lower the car. It's going to be static lowered. I'm not putting bags, we're just going to drop it a little bit. We're using Eibach Lowering Springs for that job. But in addition to it, because everything is going to change its position, we're going to be replacing all the control arms, with the exception of the front control arms. Those were already replaced about a year ago because the ball joints were bad. Now, as for rear struts, I decided to go with the stock ones. I wanted the front end adjustable so I could adjust how hard she rides. Bear in mind, right now as she sits, she's got her winter wheels on. These are the factory ones. I have snow tires in the front, and I have the regular tires in the back. When I'm done with this, we're going to be putting the 18-inch Eagle alloy rims back on with brand new set of tires. These rims and tires have only one season in them. They went down to South Carolina and back when my son was using the car. In the end, there's a difference between a 16 and 18-inch rim. I wanted to be able to adjust the quality of the ride by adjustable struts. Because of the rim, the 18-inch being a lower profile tire will ride the car a little harder than normal. Also, bear in mind, the car static sits lower with the 18s than the 16s that are on it. That's due to the tire size. I like the look of the smaller tire. I knew I'd lower the car anyway. I like that low to the ground look without really hugging inside the wheel well too terribly or having to tuck it up in. So I went with the slightly smaller tire. The difference in the speedometer I checked is about 2.5 miles an hour. So if the speedometer reads 70, you're really doing like 67.5, 68, somewhere in that range. So it's close enough. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Obviously, I already jacked the car up already. I already jacked the car up ahead of time. We're gonna focus more on putting the car together than tearing it down. The tear down is gonna be pretty much really quick. Here we go. One of the other things we're going to be doing is we're going to be replacing the brakes. I don't think the caliper is effectively squeezing the rotor like it should. Now these rear ones are non-vented, they're just a flat piece of steel in there. It's a rear brake, it doesn't work as good as the fronts do, obviously. However, with that being said, it doesn't look like they're really working that well anyway. I've been replacing these brake pads and it seems to never have had a good wear bite on the rotor itself. It's my belief calipers are stuck hydraulically. The piston doesn't move as good as it should. So it ought to be replaced. And again, with the mileage that are on this car, that makes the most sense. but I wanted you guys to see why I'm redoing the brakes. In addition to the aesthetics of it, it also has to work properly in addition to look cool too. I'm going to go ahead and unbox the Eibach springs. I've already cut them open and got the instructions out. This is a set that has front and rears. 001s are front and 002s are rears. So this is a rear right here. Here's your Eibach logo. They have it so it sits upright. So here is a rear. The stock spring that came from the brand new loaded strut is the one on the left. The one on the right, that's the Eibach lowering spring. Now, one more important thing to note, Eibach claims the rear bump stop, which is that white piece right here, does not need to be trimmed. It does need to be trimmed 20 millimeters on the front position, but this is the rears. Now, the first alignment issue I'm going to show you is right here. This is one of the car's lower control arms. It goes from the subframe that you actually have to drop down a little bit just to get the bolts out. It's not as scary as it sounds. But the one lower control arm is adjustable basically to adjust the toe in and toe out on the rear axle. Remember, the car doesn't have an axle. It goes off of a trailing arm, 2 lower control arms, and a strut. Well, this is how the new one came, and it's obviously shorter. So what I'm going to do, just to get the alignment close, basically factory. I'm not going to worry about its exact alignment here because it's going to go to bomb guards to get aligned properly. But the idea is simply, I'm going to line it up with these bolts. I'm going to open this up and lengthen it. This is just basically a turnbuckle with 2 locking nuts on it. I'll open this up until I can get the other bolt through the both of them, so I can get it in the position it used to be in. I do not know what the geometry looks like as far as whether it's going to be too long or too short with the car with its new ride height. So now that I can get both bolts in and it's the same length, I'll lock these down. And for what I'm doing, it's not imperative that I really jam them really tight, because they're just going to take them apart once they get to the alignment shop anyway. I've already replaced these 2 control arms here. This is the solid one that has no adjustment. This one right here is the one that has the toe in and out adjustment. It attaches to the subframe right under here. The subframe bolts to the bottom of the car. That side's just loose. This side here is completely off. But you have to lower it down. You have to lower it down or you're not going to get the bolts out of these holes. It gets up too close to the gas tank on that side over here. And the trunk well right here. That's actually where your spare tire goes. So it has to be dropped down just to change them out. Good. Stop. A little more. A little more. A little more. Ultimately, I went with adjustable front struts. I wanted to be able to adjust the ride quality of the struts. If you look right here, you'll see the little dot is on number 2. There's a flathead screwdriver right in the center. There's an adjustment right there in the dead center you could adjust with a flathead screwdriver. And what that does is it allows you to adjust 1 for soft, 4 for hard, and then of course 2 and 3 for anywhere in the middle. I have it set for 2. The reason for this is right now the car has 18-inch wheels on it. But factory, when it's winter time, we run 16s with the snow tires. But anybody knows bigger rims and lower profile tires means the ride quality gets a little more harsh. So I can harden up the suspension a little bit by adjusting the front struts. Right now she's sitting on her 18-inch rims, as you see. That's why I did it the way I did. Well, that's it for this video regarding the Oldsmobile. Hopefully you learned a few things from it. If you have any questions as to what I did, go ahead and leave a comment below or send me an email, feszchakshop@gmail.com, right here below. We're filming this outro the day after I finished the car because we're right here in Freedom High School. And right here, they had the Freedom Car Show. And by the way, we got a ride in a really cool car in the middle of the show. A guy that owns a really cool car, you're gonna have to wait to find out what that car was, gave me and Matthew a ride in a really cool car. We just left the show and came back in a really cool car. You gotta check that out. Now, how do you go ahead and check that out? Well, here's what you do. Join the FSC crew. All you gotta do, boom, subscribe to the channel. Once you subscribe to the channel, you see this notification bell down here. Might be over there, over here, I'm not sure. Either way, hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified of when I upload the next video, which will be the Freedom Car Show right here at the Freedom High School parking lot. And you will find out what kind of car we rode in that day. Thank you for watching the video of lowering my 1998 Oldsmobile Intrigue. By the way, we are a full-service custom shop. If you want similar work like this done to your car, give us a call. You see the number, 920-202-4036, feszchakshop@gmail.com. Leave a comment below. Just let me know what you think of the work that we did. Obviously, we do any kind of work from cheap old Oldsmobiles to Impalas like here to whatever. If you got it, we'll build it for you. With that being said, thank you for watching. I am Steve Feszchak, Matthew Feszchak right here. This is FSC, Feszchak Speed and Custom Shop. What else could I do for you?